All right, guys. Hello and welcome or welcome back to What's the Obsession, covering the Kiely Rodni case. And tonight, bringing you some of the latest information you may not have heard yet with the guys from Adventures with Purpose, calling how this whole situation went down extremely suspicious. Suspicious. All right. So welcome, guys. I hope everyone's doing well. Hi, Fluffy Muppet. Yeah, stick around. It has all of those things. I promise. I can't wait to hear what you think. Hi, Edward. How are you doing? Hi, Kimberly. Welcome. How are you doing? Hi, Yarn and Mittens. Thank you so much for being here and being a wonderful moderator. Same to you, Joan and Utter Nutter. Hi, Mia M. How are you? Welcome, my darling. And hi, Muffy Dragon Slayer. I always love seeing you here, girl. Thanks for being here. And also, can you guys let me know how the audio is? Let's see. Hi, Green Eyes. I hope you're still here. Well, I always love it when she's here. Did Kelly show up? Yeah, Kelly's here. I was going to cancel live tonight because I've been pretty tired. I was going to do that Alibi of Lies part 2 tonight, but that has been a big production and project. And I didn't want to let you guys down. So here we are.
A mother is missing her 16-year-old daughter.
Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the Truckee teenager disappeared after attending a party at a campground.
She was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
When do you think that this took place? He parked his van right here, facing that direction. Her vehicle was parked right over here. I have set a radius of 10 miles around Prosser Creek Reservoir. We're going to work hard to clear Stampede, Independence, Boca, and Prosser Creek, all within that 10-mile range. I've just located in the corner of this cove here a target that I cannot identify. 18 different agencies, over 19,000 man-hours have been put into this. I'm a firm believer in second chances. However, some things don't deserve forgiveness. Taking the life of a 16-year-old deserves zero forgiveness.
You see that?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, though. It's only 10 feet of water. We definitely have something man-made. If this is her, this means all hope is lost as far as her still being out there, her being found safe.
What would you want to say to Kiely tonight?
I love her so much. So many people love her. And we're all looking and we're trying so hard. And I'm so sorry we haven't found you yet, but we're not giving up and just hang in there, sweetie. Just find her soon. Bring it home.
I don't want to find her. I want to be able to clear all this water and be able to tell the family she's not here. She's not here. Our job is to be here to find the where.
Confirm. I see the vehicle and the license plate. We have just found Kiely's vehicle. Over.
All right. Whoa. Why is that playing? Hold it. I don't want that playing yet. Just 1 minute. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. All right. We'll get to that though. Yeah. So, the people from Adventures with Purpose, heroes, in my opinion, guys, thank you so much for what you do. And there's millions of people out there, as they know, because they have so many subscribers and supporters, and they know that. But so thank you for all you do. We all thank you for all that you do. It's important work. It's brave work. It's not easy work, right? So what is very noticeable are the people that aren't thanking Adventures with Purpose. And, some of us have discussed this. It's hard to get your head around the fact that, some members of the family are not thanking Adventures with Purpose. It's crazy stuff. So what's going on now? Bring a couple other things into the stream here. So, as you may know, Doug and Nick from Adventures with Purpose, who are the two main people, aside from the camera guys, who were involved in finding and recovering Kiely's car with Kiely in it in Prosser Reservoir. These two have been doing interviews on YouTube channels, which I think is pretty cool. You know, they're YouTubers themselves, they're supporting YouTube channels. And what I really like about their interviews, guys, is they are clearly very candid. And when you listen to their interviews, when you listen to the interviews individually, or when you listen to the collection or body of interviews as a whole and consider them as a whole, one thing is clear. These guys have a message that they want to get out, don't you think? I think as time goes on and they make more statements and they do more interviews, that is very clear. And, you know, at this point, from what they've said and kind of, you know, the flow of things, it seems like they want to allow law enforcement that space of doing what they need to do and perhaps getting the information out there the way law enforcement deems appropriate. I definitely don't get the sense that either Doug or Nick or some other people, like the guy from Clear TV who we're going to hear from in just a moment, I don't think that they have a feeling of confidence that law enforcement is going to roll things out properly from here on out. But I think they're allowing them that space, which I think is awesome. They're being respectful towards law enforcement. They're not undermining them in any way. They're being professional. They're being gentlemen. They're being great models of, you know, how a person should act. But, you know, I think at some point, the information that they have is going to be coming out no matter what, and it will be made public. So, let's see. All right. So I just want to listen to a couple statements here before moving on to the new Fox News information. So this is going to be a couple clips of primarily Nick from Adventures with Purpose speaking, but also Check It TV. So Check It TV found well, let's just listen to the stream. I don't want to be redundant here. Wow, these two interviews on Grizzly Crime Channel blew my mind. Grizzly Crime Channel interviewed Nick Wren, who was the diver from Adventures with a Purpose, who found Kiely's vehicle underwater and identified that her body was in the vehicle, in the the hatchback of the vehicle. And also the diver from Check It. That is the channel that found Kiely Rodni's laptop along with several other personal items that belonged to Kiely that floated out of her vehicle. We all saw the way that vehicle was extracted from the lake. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I'm hardly a professional in pulling a vehicle out of a lake, especially when the vehicle is the crime scene, especially when the vehicle is the environment in which a young girl may have died. But Nick and Check It TV are going to tell you what they think about how everything went down. And guys, it just blew my mind to hear them talking about how much more they know about this case and when they'll be willing to release that information. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got to say that I was a little shocked by getting the info about the stuff that this random, paddleboarder guy found. And how do I say this? If we were to do that recovery, we would have done it differently. But
yes,
that's fine. We're told, hey, you guys, you're done. Thank you. Now let the FBI and law enforcement step in and take it from here. And, obviously there was something that happened there that they didn't double check after it was taken out. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I was a little shocked to see that those items were found and not recovered. Yes, and yeah, keeping it in the position that we found it would be another crucial way of keeping the evidence. And I don't know if you noticed, but when they recovered the vehicle, I noticed when they finally got it, when their tow truck was pulling it above the water, one of the windows was broken out that wasn't broken out when I dove on it the first time. So,
Guys,
yeah.
Nick Wren, who did the original dive, when they located Kiely's car, just said that there was an additional window that was broken that was not broken when he did his first dive. What? All right, so I'm going to pause that for a minute. Did you guys know that prior to hearing that in this interview that came out on Grizzly Crime Channel? She did a great job interviewing these guys. I think she really got some great information out. I didn't know that. I did not know that the window that was broken, says Nick, who would know since he's a diver that located the car in the lake, said that the window was not broken when he first did the 360 meticulously and carefully as Doug instructed him, inspecting the car. So, hey, that is a really big deal. You did know that, Yarn and Mittens? They broke it when they, okay. That is a really big deal because I know up until last night, from my experience, across YouTube channels, people were talking about, was that window broken before the car entered the lake or after, and what those implications were. So if we can remove that question and that inquiry from the conversation, that's going to have really big implications in taking the logical steps needed to arrive at a sound conclusion regarding what happened to Kiely, and was this an accident or was there foul play involved?
Dove on it the first time. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to knock on anybody. I'm just saying I would have, and I know our team would have done it slightly different to try to maintain as much integrity of that vehicle and the belongings as possible.
So now Nick is going to answer some of the questions that has been the topic of many a live stream about the Kiely Rodni case.
The window is either broken out or rolled down. My guess is it was rolled down because I did not notice any broken glass. And even in the footage after reviewing it, I didn't see any broken glass. If that would have broke during it going into the water, more than likely you'd see some evidence of broken glass around the vehicle or even in the vehicle. Now, if it broke before the vehicle went into the water, you might not see any evidence. However, you might see some inside the little slot where the window actually goes. And I didn't see any of that. That glass would have been from the window that broke when they were rolling the vehicle back over, because I didn't notice any in my complete 360 of the vehicle. I didn't notice anything. Driver's window was broken when they pulled it out, and at least one of the rear view mirrors was broken off. Those were intact, if I remember right, when I was up water.
When I took video of it, it's almost like the vehicle was turned and it just perfectly smashed the glass, and then the vehicle turned again, and then the glass was left there. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'll post a picture of what I mean. Yeah. Did it flip it, or is it when the vehicle went in there and did its first initial flip? I don't know.
It had to be when they flipped it, because the only windows, the passenger window was either down or broken out when I saw it, and the rear driver's side was halfway down. All others were intact. When it was pulled out of the water, that's when I noticed the driver's window was now broken out. You could see shards of glass in the corner of it.
Here's Nick's response when he's asked about the possible seatbelt hanging out of Kiely's vehicle.
Well, that is kind of weird. I'm not familiar with this particular make and model of a vehicle. Does it have seatbelts in the back for potential, if there's people that sit in the very back? If that is part of a seatbelt, and how did it get there? Yes, that would be kind of suspicious. As we all know now that she was in the back of the vehicle. I also know that it's not just a guaranteed if somebody's found in the back of the vehicle that it's instantly foul play. However, when something looks out of place to you, you just know that. So it did look suspicious to me. That's about all I can really say. I'm not basing it off of past experience. I'm basing it off of just the way that whole weekend played out, the things I heard and what I saw. It seemed a little suspicious to me.
But there's another.
Now, guys, I just want to say that's something that, when I listen to these guys speak. And I'm sure that a lot of you get this same sense. You know, like what Nick just said, he's like, I'm not basing this off of experience. I'm just basing this off of this sense that you get, this human sense, like kind of this intuitive sense. He didn't say those words. I just love how candid they are. They don't try to take credit for anything that they didn't do. And they're just very real. To me, guys, this is the most credible kind of person, right?
Clue that maybe all of you guys might think it's a lot more suspicious. It's not a weapon, but it's something that it's something else. It's we were able to, you know, Kylie's grandpa was able to verify that it was in fact her laptop. You know, so we did finally. I'll show you guys everything we found. Everything you see, we have shown you, or everything we found, we've shown you. It's just a matter of more detail. As law enforcement releases more information, we have additional stuff that we are withholding, but we will release it. The authorities do have everything that we found. We're just not showing additional stuff that we found for very particular reasons, and we're waiting to see what they do. It's very interesting, and when you guys see it, I mean, I can just tell you, I cannot release that information until the authorities release more information. But we will, as soon as they release more, we will release ours. We'll show you everything we can, and as soon as everything is done editing, you will see everything except for one last piece of the puzzle that we were holding.
I sent a message to the officer who came in to look for some of or who took the call yesterday, I think it was. I asked him if they were saying a dive came out, and I got no response, so that's why I'm on.
Me actually pulling that laptop out, the duffel bag, there's some pretty harsh language there of how upset I was. You kind of have to come and do it your effing self, you know. I was.
Yeah. So I obviously I've thought of this too because of the information that we received prior to our start of this investigation, and then where we found her, knowing that the police and the authorities had already searched this lake, and I believe they searched it on the Sunday after she went missing. So that would have only been, you know, a day and a half after she was last seen. Mm-hmm. And so is there a possibility that they didn't miss the vehicle? The vehicle wasn't in the lake at that point. Absolutely a possibility. Am I familiar enough with what a person looks like in 2 weeks versus 12 days? Not at all. Is it going to look any different? Maybe not. So near as I can tell, the vehicle looked like it had been there at least a week with the amount of just the way it looked to me. Mm-hmm. But I can't speculate any further than that. And sure, my mind's asking these same questions. Yeah. And very well could be that the vehicle wasn't in there when they first searched the lake. You can see on my emotions when I got up out of the water after finally, you know, we confirmed that, yeah, this is most likely a vehicle. We've got a magnet stuck to it. Now somebody's got to go down and do the visual assessment. And of course, you saw what I saw there. And so when I come up, the emotions are not just from what I saw, but just the whole thing of in shock of I just can't believe we were the ones that just found this. You know, there's been so many people scour this lake, and how is this even possible? And now we have to inform the families. So, you know, it was a lot of emotions going through my head at that moment. And that's why the look on my face and the way I was acting was the way it was. And then from the time we hooked the magnet onto it till the time I dove on it, I'm going to say there was almost a 2-hour period there, because at that point we had to be real discreet about it as to not alarm people. We actually had a person from the New York Post that was following us at that point. They were back at the boat ramp, so we had to be like, how are we going to move our whole team into position without alarming them? Because, you know, it's a media. As soon as the word gets out, this place is going to be crawling, and we don't want to provide any false hope or, you know, get the family there before we confirm it. Because there's only one way to confirm it's the vehicle we're looking for, and that's to get in the water and physically see it. So it was about 2 hours by the time we got back to the boat ramp, discreetly maneuvered, loaded everything back up in our mobile dive unit, drove around to that particular point of the lake, park. Then I had to put my dive gear on and go back into the water. So it was early afternoon by the time we actually confirmed that it was her vehicle and that there was human remains inside.
Okay. So I don't know, man. That was only, 10 minutes of interview material with Nick from AWP and Check It TV, who recovered the laptop and other items that law enforcement left behind. But man, I think it's like a really densely packed 10 minutes. They had a lot to say there. They both have more information. It sounds like they both stated that they're both waiting to release that information depending on the moves that law enforcement makes next or what information they put out, I guess it sounds like. And I just find that to be absolutely incredible. And how lucky, seriously, how lucky is law enforcement that they are working with the kind of people who are allowing them to do that. I mean, we've seen happen in so many other cases. People who are not part of law enforcement get some information. They just can't control themselves. They go off and run with it. And sometimes it's just a leak of information as far as law enforcement is concerned. And other times it leads to catastrophic consequences for the integrity of the case in general, for the family of the victims, or just putting bad stuff out there into the atmosphere, which is not something we ever want to be doing, right? So let me just check out comments here real quick. I want to see what you guys think. Let's see. Welcome to everybody who just came into chat. Oh, great point. So Miracle says, what about the data from the laptop? That should play a big, big, big part, don't you think? I absolutely think so. So now when the laptop and the other items were recovered, this was something that I thought of right away. I'm sure a lot of people thought of right away. Of all things, law enforcement, that you're going to leave in that lake after you recover the car and Kiely in this kind of really just unceremonious, fashion that's not preserving evidence or the environment that she may have died in. You're gonna leave the laptop, you're gonna leave the MacBook, which has the potential to have endless data in it. Those things are tracking us, as we know. When we have no idea that they're tracking us, sometimes we don't even know that they're on. In addition to all of the other information that might be in that laptop that Kiely put into that laptop, or messages she received from friends, or access to friends' social media accounts, or whatever it may be. That laptop is potentially and most likely a treasure trove of information that is going to shed a light on many things in this case that we, who are not privy to certain levels of information, do not know about right now. And that is the item you're going to leave at the bottom of the lake? For real? This is crazy. Ugh, I just don't even. Let's see. Okay. All right. So, sorry, I'm looking at texts and just because they're relevant to what's going on right now. All right. And welcome, Mandy. I'm glad you're able to make a live. That's awesome. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so Mitch says, hi, Mitch, how are you doing? She says, I don't think her mom acted strange. She is mourning her daughter, and I just don't know how I would act. Mitch, that's a really good point because, everybody does grieve differently, and we do know that. I don't know. I mean, I personally am just on the fence about that because I do personally observe behaviors, things, mannerisms that are that to me indicate you need to look further into why these behaviors or mannerisms or words are a little off, right? There are some things, I guess, for me that just don't sit well from my perspective as an applied behavioral analyst. And also just, some people say, oh, you can't have a gut feeling in true crime. It's got to be all facts. And hey, man, this channel is all facts. We accept nothing but. While that's all facts is critical, intuition and that gut feeling, that definitely does play a role, right? And something doesn't sit right with me. But hey, I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. And I could be wrong about this. That's just how I feel about it. Oh, good question. So Mandy E says, do you think the laptop is readable after being in water so long? I'm not sure. Well, so there's going to be a lot that's going to be stored on the cloud. I imagine Kiely at her age. So I work with teenagers every day. I'm pretty technologically savvy. They are far more technologically savvy than I am. And I know for them, everything goes into the cloud. Their lives are digital. You know, there's so much information. They would need so much local space on a MacBook or a laptop or an iPad or whatever it is to store everything that they need. And then they got their phone, they got their iPad, they got their laptop, they got their, they have all of these different devices. So a great deal of what they got going on is in the cloud. So all of that, of course, would be accessible. And, I know in previous cases when a device like that has been submerged in water for a long time, I think it's gone either way. Sometimes we're shocked to find out that the data is in fact recoverable. And other times it's like, oh man, are you serious? Nothing is recoverable. So I don't have the expertise. That's a good question though, to know the answer personally. Does anyone know the answer to the question? Hi, Maltese Cross. Let me get back down to current time comments. I'm a little bit behind here. Yeah. Mandy E also says her talking about Lindsay Newman, that's the last name, right? Kiely's mom. She says the body language is off. I can't quite pinpoint it. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And Joan says, Kiely, I hate that I feel weird about the mom. It makes me a little uncomfortable too. I don't want, as parents ourselves, I don't know. That's why I'm on the fence. I don't know, man. I just, yeah. So the one thing about the mother, since we're talking about it a little bit here, one place that we have video recording of where there's footage of mom that bothered me most was at the community meeting. So are you guys familiar with the community meeting video? Bothered me for two reasons at two different points in the video. I think the community meeting recording is about 45 minutes long. I was left feeling at dis-ease, as Nick, the roadside assistant guy says. I was left feeling at dis-ease like Nick when Kiely's mom was speaking. She was still missing at this point. It was pretty early on. It was well before they found her. And she said a few things about Kiely, and it was all very positive. We've got to be positive, sunshine over the rainbow. And then she went into, kind of got on a soapbox about advocacy for using the system of the Amber Alert properly, advocacy for, but then she got into advocacy for legislation that really didn't have much to do with her daughter in that moment being missing. She didn't know where her baby is. I feel like, to me, that would be like the only thing on my mind, right? And I'm really excited for when you are ready to share Esther G, because I would love to hear it. And then at the end of that community meeting, we see her, Sammy gets up to speak, and she comes darting out of like the audience area and kind of like hangs and lingers draped over Sammy. Have you guys seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Do you guys know what I'm talking about there? Let me just show you. I have it really quickly on my channel. I can show you where she's draped over Sammy. I'm just going to show you that because I think it's weird. And it happened again, at the celebration of life. Now, I just want to share something personal with you. When I was a senior in high school, my best friend's brother, who was 1 year younger than us, he was in a car accident. A friend of ours that's still friends with this guy, was driving, There were 2 other passengers in the car. His name was Jesse. He was actually in the back seat, and they got in an accident just going a high speed. It wasn't a crazy accident. In fact, he could have driven his car away from the scene of the accident, right? And the other 2 guys were like fine, some scrapes and bruises, and Jesse died. You know, it was like this freak thing. He had no pre-existing health problems. They did an autopsy. They didn't find anything that would have made him more vulnerable to dying from a not really serious car accident. Well, of course, the mother was a mess. And I was very, very close with the mom. They were like my second family. And she became very, very close with the 2 friends that were in the car with him, when the one that was driving, the other was a passenger, and just all of us kids in general. Like, it was almost as though you observed some regression in her, which I think is to be expected with such a catastrophic loss, right? But in some ways, Lindsay Newman reminds me of my friend's mom and Jesse's mom when that happened. And it was years later. And we would come home from college, and even after college, guys, even to this day, I'm 43. You know, when I see her there, you can see the pain in her eyes. Nothing will ever be the same. And there's that almost childlike connection, like frozen in time, right? But then I also see something in Kiely's mother that's not that. I also see, and this is just my opinion, I also see something that's much different. And like some of you are saying in chat, and I've heard people say before, of course, can't put your finger on it. A couple things I think I can put my finger on. And in fact, I'm going to lunch with some of my colleagues who are also, behavioral analysts. And I have an idea of what might be going on with Kiely's mom. I don't want to bring it out yet because I want to get their thoughts on it. And if they're like, oh, hell yeah, it's a go. We're gonna put it all out there. And the implications would be scandalous. So that's why I don't want to say boo about it until I have the backing of other people who are looking at this objectively. Yeah, I know. You guys, really good stuff in chat here. Yeah. So Elizabeth says, and welcome, Elizabeth. How are you? Says, Mom, she's not the protective type, and maybe she's covering up for the underage drinking, selling liquor, something like that. I think that's totally possible too. I mean, all of these things are definitely within the realm of possibility. You know what would settle me personally? And again, this is just in my opinion. I don't know why I think I'm so special to get on here on YouTube and just be spewing my opinion all over the place, but here I go. If there was also some healthy tears, an expression of gratitude towards adventures with purpose, and some other things that would seem just kind of appropriate in the grieving stage at this point, along with these other things that raise the red flags, I think I'd be like, all right, you know, everyone grieves differently. Everyone behaves differently. We don't know this woman. This is her just being her. I don't know. So, all right. So this is the video I've up. It's Kiely Rodni's mother, Lindsay. Strange? ? Interviews and media appearances for you to decide. I just want to go to that one spot I was talking about where they're at the community meeting and she's just kind of draped over Sammy. Okay, here we are. Oh, weird. Okay.
See.
There are 5 significant teams that have been working on this case. They have been doing the social media. They have been part of the powerhouses of what we're doing. We also have an adult team. So let's not think that we are leaving our teams on their own to be able to figure out how we find Kiely. We are all here. We are all working, right? So Kiely's going to share what is happening next for the teams for tomorrow night.
So, hi. And thanks, Mama, love you.
So.
And that's the last I ever heard from her. We just want her home. We're so scared and we miss.
Yeah, and see here, and this live isn't going to be all about this, and I don't want to, and I really, any suspicion about this woman might be totally wrong for me and other people. She lost her daughter, so I want to try to intentionally take it easy on her, but we see these faces of anguish where someone who is in that state of loss and grief and terror and anxiety and mourning, tears would naturally be flowing. It's your body's natural response. It's an asympathetic response. It's not voluntary. And we have these faces of anguish, these faces of, sobbing, but no tears. Kind of reminds me of a number 1 on K. Not that the two are the same. I'm just that absence of tears, but all of the other accoutrements that go along with crying hard, No, it's not a stupid question. A lot of people have asked that. So Joan says, this is going to sound stupid, but cars have black box in all cars now. Some cars have a black box, so to speak. Yes, like an aircraft would. This car did not. So that had been thoroughly kind of discussed, and I looked into it myself. So no black box in this car. So black box is just going to record all the information, all the critical information of the vehicle, and sometimes also audio in those moments before something happens, or just in any moment, right? So no black box in this car. Yeah, and Downtown Wonder, hi, and hi, Ho Chi Winner. Welcome, guys. How you doing? And anyone else that came into chat, I just happened to see these guys here. And yeah, so Downtown says, Kiely Rodni's family pretty much lived off the grid. So this is another good point. The way that Kiely Rodni's mom seems a little adverse towards social media in her media statement at Kylie's celebration of life. She is adverse towards social media, right? That's something that's known about her. You can pick that up with her vibe in general. She's got that hippie thing going on. Ain't nothing wrong with that, So that is something that is consistent with who, by all accounts, she is, right? So in that case, that's not an indicator of red flags or deception. I don't know. I'm sorry, glasses broke, Joan. Okay, so now what I want to talk about is this Fox News article and report. So I'm going to bring that into the stream. There is some video, and then me. I'm going to have to read the article. Let's see. Let's get rid of this. Later notifications. What is this? Close. I don't know what that is. Okay. All right. So let me just get to the video spots here. Play those first. Oh, hold it. Are you serious? We can listen to this article. Maybe, yeah. I don't have to read it. That's amazing. All right, let's see. I tried to play this earlier and there was no volume on it, which was strange. I don't know why that is. This has happened twice. I don't know why that is. Why is there no volume on you? That's weird. It's only a minute long. It's not a huge deal. I just am... Come on. Let's see if I make it full screen, if it's any different. It's no sound on it. It's weird. I haven't been able to get sound on this all day, on this particular video. Let me check my volume controls. Nope, nothing. Weird. It's so weird. Look at the settings. I don't know what that means. All right, so fine. So that's what it is. And we've probably seen this anyway. So That's not the important part. That's the good news. Yes, it's from the Adventures with Purpose video. I'm sure many of us, all of us perhaps have seen it. Okay. Pause. Let me just get my bearings on the article. So the article, Kiely Rodni, the volunteer dive team that found her remains suspects. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. I put the inflection in the wrong spot. Kiely Rodni, the volunteer dive team that found her remains suspects foul play, right? Rodni vanished August 6th after attending party in Tahoe National Park. See if we can listen to the article.
Kiely Rodni, the volunteer.
I love it. Okay, is this guy reading okay? All right.
Dive team that found her remains suspects foul play. Rodni vanished August 6th after attending party in Tahoe National Park. Oregon-based divers discovered the body of missing California teen Kiely Rodni and her car last month submerged in a reservoir, and now the search team's lead investigator says he suspects foul play. It doesn't add up, Doug Bishop told Fox News Digital of the circumstances of 16-year-old Rodni's death. It reeks of foul play. Kiely was last seen alive August 6th at a high school send-off party with more than 300 people at a campground in Tahoe National Forest in Truckee, California. It wasn't until a civilian dive team with a popular YouTube channel arrived August 21st that her body and car were located using sonar technology in a reservoir that had already been searched just a quarter mile from the site of the gathering. Adventures with Purpose delivered the grim news to Rodni's family and a dose of embarrassment to law enforcement. The for-profit group, which sells everything from shirts to fishing magnets emblazoned with the company's logo, also has its share of critics. To me, they're monetizing and commercializing missing people, said Tammy Waters of Sonar Search and Recovery, a nonprofit she runs with her husband Dennis.
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to preface this. Okay. So what you're going to hear right now is this woman, Tammy, speaking. And again, as this gentleman just said, who's reading, do you want to hear him read it or do you want to hear me read it? If you have a preference, please just put it in chat and I'll do what you want. So this couple that does a search and rescue situation like Adventures with Purpose has been doing that search and rescue for 17 years. And over that 17 years, they've recovered 106 cars. Now, I'll do the number crunching after we hear a little more. Let me just see what your preference is for reading. If you have one, me, okay, I can do that. Okay, yeah, his pronunciation was a little weird. That's why I asked. So, and mine can be too, I hear, but I'll do my best. Okay, guys. All right. So, all right, let's see where he left off. Thank you, sir, for reading a couple paragraphs. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely play that. You think I should play that tonight? You're in mittens. Okay. So let me go where he picked up. Wait, hold on. Let me enlarge this. I don't know, in case people want to, I don't know if you want to read along or if you want me to put up other pictures. I don't know, man. I can't give you too many options. You guys have started to be spoiled. Okay. So whoop, I think I zoomed in too much. Okay. The for-profit group, which sells everything from t-shirts to fishing magnets, embolized with the company's logo, also has its share of critics. So they're talking about Adventures with Purpose. This is a quote. To me, they're monetizing and commercializing missing people, said Tammy Waters of Sonar Search and Recovery, a nonprofit she runs with her husband Dennis that assists law enforcement. Headline is, Kiely Rodni's body is discovered. On the day she went missing, Rodni sent her mother a text at 11:30 p.m. saying she'd be home in 45 minutes. At around 12:33 a.m., her phone pinged for the last time, and she and her silver Honda CR-V vanished. Pause for a moment. Mary just asked an excellent question, asking, where do I think Kiely's phone is? Where do you guys think Kiely's phone is? It's interesting that law enforcement has not released any data at all from the phone to the public. Now, it sounds like Doug from Adventures with Purpose and some other people have seen those texts, because Doug several times in several interviews that he did said, well, yeah, okay, so Kiely texted her mom at 11:33 and it was perfect spelling, perfect grammar, perfectly composed text, but she's supposed to be inebriated? I don't think so, says Doug, right? That's a good point. Okay, back to the article. Authorities launched an expansive search involving 18 local, state, and federal agencies that spent over 19,000 man-hours using divers, boats equipped with sonar, and helicopters to locate Rodni. But 2 weeks of searching turned up few clues. The circumstances of Rodni's disappearance were so puzzling, investigators began probing the case as a possible abduction. Hi, Kiely. Bishop, a former tow truck driver turned sonar expert, Doug Bishop we're talking about, guy with a beard, and his colleague, scuba instructor Nick Wren, arrived with 2 videographers and a producer to film their search efforts. They combed Prosser Reservoir using sonar and located Rodni and the car after just 35 minutes. Critical. Just after 35 minutes. Absolutely critical, right? And we know it's in 14 feet of water, right? Absolutely critical. Because now one of the big questions that exists is, was Kiely and her car in that lake when law enforcement allegedly, I'm giving them the allegedly now, did a thorough search of that lake? The small SUV was upside down under 14 feet of water, about 55 feet from the shore, with Rodni's remains in the rear cargo portion of the vehicle. Adventures with Purpose lead investigator Doug Bishop and diver Nick Wren, this is the photo caption, I'm sorry, who found Kiely Rodni's remains in Prosser Reservoir on August 21st, 2022. So this was a caption, I'm sorry, guys, for this picture here. Okay. The dramatic moment was captured on YouTube documentary the group released, which has drawn more than 2 million views. She's in the back of the vehicle. She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me, Wren said. It was the first time Wren had located a body or a car underwater. Now there's that sloppy ass search scene, or I'm sorry, vehicle recovery scene, man. No netted windows. Oh, I know something, guys. I know. Last live stream when I was going off about the windows not being netted, or some people say screened, or what, the things did not happen to the car that were an effort to preserve a possible crime scene, right? So I said, oh, I know somebody who'll know the answer to this. I'm sure I can get him on YouTube. And he said actually he would come on the channel. So look for that in the future. But I will tell you that I told him the whole situation, had him read whatever I was able to find about it, about law enforcement flipping the car, which broke the window before removing it. And then, people saying, oh, well, they were worried if they took it up by the roof. It doesn't even make sense to me. But whatever, he read it, so he knew what the actual facts are, that the car would break up. And he's like, no way, not this kind of car. So apparently, I don't know anything about cars. Cars are made in either, the body of the car, right, is either made, it can be made in, I don't know, one piece. I don't think he said one piece, but it can be made in, let's say it can be made in one piece, or maybe the different panels and the trunk and the hood and all that, maybe that's going to be a total of like 12 different pieces. So he was talking about older cars and cars that are not made as well being in these like multiple pieces where they're not connected in this really like reliable way. I don't know. yeah, maybe you would like be concerned about them breaking up in the fashion that people expressed in regards to this case. But he's like, a Honda CRV. He's like, no freaking way. There's no way, he said, that anyone was really concerned about that. That is false. That's a false claim. That's BS. Somebody wants people to look the other way. I believe him. He knows what he's doing. I don't want to give too much more information about him because I don't want to. People have done weird things to me and my peeps because they aren't a fan of my channel or whatever. So I don't want to get anyone else in a situation. Okay. But he said he will come on. So maybe this weekend or early next week. So then you guys can ask him questions. You people that know more about cars than I do can ask him better questions than I could ask. Okay. So here's a quote. I'm back to the article, and this is Nick. It was so shocking because I couldn't believe we came in, or maybe this is Doug. I don't know. I was going to tell us in a minute. I couldn't believe we came in after all that time and found it, he told Fox News Digital. It was also a sad moment, a very emotional moment for all of us involved. No one wants to tell a parent, we found your daughter and she's not coming home, right? Awful. Now here is a link to a timeline. I checked it out. It looks pretty solid from what I know. It wasn't as detailed as some other timelines I've seen. So back reading the article. The young girl's father, Kiely Rodni, was also stunned. Right there, the dad can be heard asking in the documentary, how the fuck could they have missed it? Right? So big primary question. So it says sonar technology. They missed her because of their, this is a quote, they missed her because of their lack of expertise and communication, Bishop told Fox Digital News of the law enforcement search. Adventures with Purpose, which primarily operates off public donations, has solved 24 cold cases in 2 years, Bishop says. Congratulations, guys. We thank you for your work. Quote, no matter where we solve a case, it creates drama, controversy, and embarrassment, he's added. Sure it does. So here's some of the sonar stuff. Oh, here's a caption under the picture. The sonar image on the left is of a car that has been submerged for a few years. The image to the right is one that Adventures with Purpose took of Kiely Rodni's silver Honda CRV. This is too big, so you can see it maybe. Whoops. Gotta go down a little bit. Just want you to see the picture. Here we are. Okay. New cars show up in sonar images like bright flash or a blur near a shadow and don't look like a vehicle. Courtesy of Tammy Waters / Adventures with Purpose. Oh, there were 2 pictures I see. The group uses sonar, the same technology local officials deploy in their search, which sends sound waves into the water that rebound when they strike an object and create an image. Bishop attributes his success to constant field experience. While most law enforcement agencies might use sonar once or twice a year to pull a car out of the water, Adventures with Purpose does so with far more frequency. Just a moment, I need to get a drink here. Okay. It says Kiely Rodni's family breaks silence after a recovery of missing teens' likely remains. And there's a link there if you want to check it out. I'll put this link in the description. The company was founded by Jarek Lissick, a driver whose initial objective was to clean up the marine environment by pulling abandoned cars from waterways. He teamed up with Bishop in 2019, who had a tow truck company at the time. They filmed their efforts, and viewers suggested they look for missing people, and they did. Bishop said they use small boats that can maneuver close to the shore, making it less likely that they miss an object when scanning a body of water. In addition, he asserts that the group has honed a unique expertise in interpreting sonar images. There's beautiful Kiely. She liked to sport the pigtail look. She had beautiful hair, right? So the caption says, Kiely Rodni was last seen at a rural campground. Oh, I thought this was a picture over there. Okay, but no, it's just a picture, not of that day. I was like, oh, I didn't know that picture was on that day, but it doesn't look like it is. A car that has been submerged for an extended period of time has buildup and sediment that makes it easier to identify as a vehicle. When the sound waves bounce off the newly submerged object, it shows up as a bright flash that many people wouldn't interpret accurately, he said. Here's the big question, guys. Was there foul play? Dun, dun, dun. Was there foul play? Bishop is convinced that Rodney's tragic demise was no accident. So we've heard Doug say, yeah, these are the things that make me think it was, foul play, but, like kind of, leaving that escape route, leaving that out, leaving that room for doubt. But, like I could be wrong, that kind of thing. So here, guys, I'm enlarging this because the statement is so critical. So again, it says, was there foul play? The immediate response in this article is Bishop, we're talking Doug Bishop, is convinced that Rodney's tragic demise was no accident. So the bomb, one of the bombs in this Fox News report is this statement. Bishop is convinced that Rodney's tragic demise was no accident. So in reporting out journalism, journalists are very careful as to the words they choose. In an organization like Fox News, even when it's their digital media sector unit, it's going to go through a couple of people at least before it gets printed on the internet or put into a video. Fox News is very conscious of their possible exposure or liability that could get them sued. Fox News, like any business organization, does not like to lose money. They are hyper vigilant about not creating exposure to any kind of lawsuit, which can certainly result if you put into print or into video a false statement. So there had to be an extremely high degree of certainty that this statement, Bishop is convinced, Doug Bishop we're talking about, is convinced that Rodney's tragic demise was no accident. This is a headline. This is big. This Fox News report's bombshell. It's one of them. This is a big deal. Over time, as we were saying earlier, it's very clear that the guys from Adventures with Purpose and some other people, like people from Check It TV or even SF Investigates, want to put more information out than we are privy to at this moment. They keep dropping more hints. To me, it's like they're chomping at the bit. They're like, I just really I think that they feel, again, this is my personal opinion, this is like editorial night for me. Hello. That I think that they feel a sense of obligation to share information, certain kinds of information they know with the public. That's their whole thing. They're serving the public. They're trying to do good things for families. They also say, when we're assisting law enforcement, but I think they feel that obligation and responsibility towards the public is much or more than they do law enforcement. And I think it's paining them. This is my observation and my takeaway from it, that they can't say more right now. As time goes on, and especially over the past few days and week, I've noticed their statements are becoming stronger. What they're allowing to go out there into the YouTube atmosphere and the general atmosphere is statements of far greater certainty towards foul play, this one being the most certain of them all. I'm going to continue reading. For her vehicle to end up where it did, she would have to take a sharp left turn into a rough dirt path about a quarter mile from the main road. Right. So we've heard Doug say that in a couple of interviews. He says this is not a wrong turn road. Right. He talks about how the road's really smooth and all of a sudden it's bumpy. It's not where you accidentally take a wrong turn in the night or anytime. Witnesses said she drank alcohol that night, but Bishop says she knew the area well and still would not have accidentally plunged into the reservoir. Just minimize this again a little so you can see the picture with the caption. There's our other Nick, right? And his girlfriend is there, guys. So I don't know if you've heard this. I think it was Doug. Nick may have said it too, but definitely Doug said that what we see of this interview here with Nick, the roadside assistance dude, or the tow truck guy, whatever we're calling him, and his girlfriend is there with him physically too, and she's also interviewed. They say that we only see about 10% of that actual exchange between AWP and this guy and or his girlfriend. And we see almost 15 minutes of their conversation. So if we see 10% of it, that means they were talking for over 2 hours, guys. If that was an accurate estimate, that means these guys, AWP, they're not there to waste their time, right? They've got a mission. They've got families to go home to. They have a sense of obligation for their work. They're not going to give some dude and his chick over 2 hours of their precious time when they have to get up early the next morning to possibly find Kiely Rodni's car and her remains. I mean, that takes a lot of mental preparation. Scuba diving, I don't know how many of you scuba dive. Scuba diving, in my opinion, takes a lot of mental preparation. So the fact that we see about 15 minutes of footage with them talking to this guy, and Doug and possibly also Nick say we see about 10% of the total content and conversation exchange between them and roadside assistant Nick. So when you do the quick math, that means they have over 2 hours of conversation with Nick and his girlfriend. Again, my point is they're not wasting time. If they gave him that much time on the eve of this big dive, he must have, in their opinions, had something extremely important and credible and possibly backed with hard evidence that we don't know about to say, right? I hope you guys agree. I'd love to look at comments, but I also have to read this article because we didn't like the robo reader. Okay. So the caption says, Doug Bishop interviews Nick, a roadside assistance worker who believes he responded to a call involving Rodni 10 hours after she was last seen. Well, that's interesting because 10 hours after she was last seen, and he says he meets with her at 11. That would mean she was last seen at 1. So I think that this caption is off in its timing, but we could question that if we want to get real cray-cray, but we're not going to. Authorities haven't yet released her autopsy or toxicology reports because I don't think they're in yet, right? Even though the cars, and I'll have to, please do answer that, but I'm just not looking at it right now. Even though the car's passenger side window was blown out and the rear driver's side window was halfway down, Rodni's remains were found in the cargo hatch. The vehicle would have sunk in seconds, according to Bishop. And then Jared, the founder of AWP, says with the windows in that condition, he estimated 20 seconds, okay? So it's terrifying. And it would make no sense for her to scramble over the row of back seats into the hatch's confined space when there were 2 windows she could have climbed through. She was super slender. This is very logical, this statement. Quote, "You're not going to crawl into the back and climb under a seat," he noted. Oh, you're not going to crawl into the back and climb under a seat? guys, wait. You're not going to crawl into the back and climb under a seat, he noted. Does anyone have anything to say about that statement? Excellent point. Hi, Gregory Worth, my new friend. I love reading your comments. He says, if you notice, the interview began when it was still daylight, but ended with the area lit by auxiliary lighting. I did notice that. It's a great observation to bring to light. So, all right. So you guys are saying, so the car was upside down. Yes, because it's upside down. Okay, I see. All right. Okay. Oh, wait. Let me just envision this. Okay. Yarn and mittens. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. All right, I get it. Okay. I got it. I had to have Yarn and mittens tell me to think about it. Just kidding, guys. Thank you very much. I wasn't able to conceptualize that. Okay. So here's a map. In the documentary on the Rodni search, Bishop interviewed a roadside assistance worker identified only as Nick. He said he responded to a call for a dead battery at Boca Lake north of Prosser Reservoir, and that the help request came August 7th, more than 10 hours after Rodni's phone pinged for the last time, he said, right? And Mary, where is that phone? I know your ornaments. I'm just kidding. It turned out the car didn't have a dead battery and that the gear shift was in neutral, which still confuses me. Does anyone understand? I don't know. The teen then repeatedly asked him how to connect her seatbelt. And guys, you know how I feel about that. If you've heard me talk about it before, I still believe her doing that was a covert cry for help. Aw, poor dad. So here's this picture, and she looked more like her dad, right, guys? Yeah, she did. She got the dad nose, got the dad eyes. Don't really know what his mouth looks like, so you got all that mouth fur. Just kidding. Got beard. All right. Daniel Rodni at a community search effort for his missing daughter, Kiely Rodni. Nick said he later saw missing posters for Rodni and realized they were the same person, according to the documentary. Investigators later obtained surveillance footage of the bizarre interaction and should have been able to confirm whether the teen was Rodni or someone looked like her, Bishop said. Let me say that again. Investigators later obtained surveillance footage of the bizarre interaction and should have been able to confirm whether the teen was Rodni or someone that looked like her, Bishop said. The Nevada Sheriff's Office said they would not provide any updates on the case until November. Bishop said the lengthy delay suggests something other than an accident. And we have to agree with that, right? So if an accident is investigated, there are indicators that an accident occurred, and that information does not drag out over like months, right? It's only when foul play or no conclusion is the conclusion that the release of information gets dragged out. So I think it's a fair statement, and really analyzing their statements and having an understanding of my sense of their kind of character and credibility. When Nick or Doug says something like that, I'm just taking it for face value. So I personally just believe that's the case. I'm going to read it again. Bishop said the lengthy delay suggests something other than an accident. My logical mind tells me that as well, and I believe Doug for sure when he says that. Okay. Criticism. But Tammy Waters of Sonar Search and Recovery, a nonprofit, has found 104 missing people underwater since 2005, called Adventures with Purpose irresponsible for publicly broaching their foul play theory. Quote, "They're not the police. They're not investigators," she said. quote, the call is for law enforcement to make. If you have the proper experience, you wouldn't go blabbing like this. She slammed Bishop for announcing the recovery of Rodni on Facebook before law enforcement even arrived at the crime scene, and one day before the sheriff's office confirmed the remains belonged to the missing teen. That was very not right, she said. Now, for those of you who just came in, this is a woman. She and her husband, Dennis, have a search and recovery effort. They've been doing this for 17 years. They've recovered 104 vehicles. She's a little salty on AWP, okay? Earlier. Waters sold Adventures with Purpose their first sonar machine in 2019 after they collaborated on Nathaniel Aspie case in Missouri. Waters identified a car in the Missouri River, and Lessick volunteered to dive in the rough currents. That's Jared Lessick. They eventually pulled out Ashby's truck with his remains still inside. Quote, I hear them saying they're the world's best, and I'm thinking, you guys have only been doing this for a few years, she said. So here's some of their merch and gear. So that's what we're seeing here, the picture. Play above video. Oh, wait, hold it. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Joan. My moderators are the best. I love you guys. I don't care what that dude says. You heard that, right? I tried to send you guys an email, by the way. I didn't want to drive any views or clicks over to that channel. So I wanted to include the little excerpt of the video on my own, but work got really busy, so I didn't. So I'm sorry I didn't address that with you guys. I was so upset about what he said about my moderators. You guys are the freaking best. The chat community here is the best. Like, all good, man. Like, jealousy and angry emotions have no place around here. Seriously. All right. Let me just see how long this is. Just 1 minute, guys. Joan sent me a good video. I just want to check.
This did an interview with Fox News Digital regarding the Kiely Rodni case. Doug stated the case doesn't.
Yeah, so that is a good. I was making a similar-ish video. Maybe I have to think about if I want to play that part of that video from Geneva True Crime or Geneva Crime Time. But thank you, Joan. I'll get to that information. Thank you so much. Bishop said he became certified as a diver in 2020. Waters was particularly upset by Bishop's foul play theory. So she says 90% of vehicles found with people in it, they're normally found in the back, she says. If it's an SUV, they're in the hatch. Now, I've got to tell you guys, after I read that, I really paused and thought about it for a while. I did as much research as I could in a couple hours on that by myself. And I'm sorry, but it does not appear that that statement is true. Also, according to what AWP says, that's not true. If I found data that showed that was true against what AWP said, I would just let you guys know that's out there. Certainly wouldn't challenge their expertise, but it sounds to me like she might be a little jealous. And I'm sorry, she's doing good work too. I hate to say that, but that statistic there is just, it's not true. So we present facts. So I have to tell you that statistic is not true. The engine is the heaviest part of the car. It'll nosedive first. Quote, as the vehicle is sinking, they're climbing to the back to try to stay up out of water. They're chasing that air, Waters said. Bishop said he, quote, highly respects the Waterses and called them one of the most distinguished teams who do this work. Being classy as always. Good job, Bishop. Good job, Doug. Quote, they are the godfathers of doing what we do. So compared to them, no one has that kind of experience, Bishop added, but their operation is different. They came up in a time without social media and get their cases directly from law enforcement. As always, a great point, very humble and factual. This is why we like these guys. Well, we're harnessing the power of social media to do good in the world, Bishop said. Selling merchandise, producing a story, being a voice for the voiceless. We have to do that because that's what allows us to help the next family spread our message. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office and Rodney's parents didn't immediately return requests for comment. All right, and now I am going to also share with you the the response from Doug in one format or another, and therein lies even more big information. Okay. Does anyone want to come up on panel and say anything or do a tap dance? I don't know. I'm going to put the link in if you do want to. I'm just going to open it up. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to get current with chat down here. And hi, DC Primetime. How are you doing? Hi, Blondie. Welcome. How's it going? Glad to see you guys here. Hi, Aaron on the side of caution. Welcome. Great to see you as always. Hi, seriously. How's it going? Yeah. So good point. So seriously says, oops, all this fuss is exactly why AWP generally only works with cases that have gone cold. Yeah. And I think that, that was a smart choice to do that to that point. Yeah, right. Oh, Yarnament says we like DC up there. Are you up for coming up, DC? Yeah. Hi, Missy Street. How are you? Welcome. So Missy says the crap that people are saying about AWP is ridiculous. Agreed. That was a great show. I need Kelly's perspective on the pings. Which pings related to this case? For those of you that are new to What's the Obsession, I used to work in site acquisition for telecom. My client was Verizon. I did some very big projects, and I am intimately familiar with the nature of cell phone pings, how they work, and spent some years working with radio frequency engineers and all kinds of people who know so much more about that stuff than I do. But I did pick up a little bit of knowledge along the way. Because although I am not a sponge, I like to pick up knowledge when I can. All right. Let's see. Jeez. Oh, yes, this case. I have to, before I gave my opinion on the pings, I need to become more familiar with the data. Mama Jane D, no way. Aw, Mama Jane D. How are you? One of our wonderful channel friends and moderators. I haven't seen you in so long. She says Ryan Upchurch gave AWP a car for finding her. Yeah, Mama Jane D, I was talking about that the last live stream. Someone mentioned Ryan Upchurch, and I was like, every time someone mentions his name now, I just think about, he put out this short where he's like, oh, what's it called? What's the car called? Because I called it like the Roadhog last time, and that's not what it is at all. What's the car called? I'm not going to mess it up again. Well, he said if they don't accept it, he's going to write him a check for that amount. Oh, good. DC's coming up. That's good. That's great. Because I got to go fetch a little. Well, I love it when she's up. And I also have to go fetch a little video to show you. I need to show you Doug's reaction to that Fox News article because that's kind of more important than in some ways in the article itself. Mostly Man was here, Mary, but he's not familiar with this case. So he'll be back tomorrow night when we do Alibi of Lies Part 2, the Watts case. And we've been working on putting some of this stuff together, guys. And trust me, you haven't seen this yet. You've seen pieces of it. Of course you have, because you can't recreate the wheel. Well, you can, but you know what I'm saying. You're going to want to watch though. That's all. And I do not put out clickbait unless it's for you to watch Caillou. Okay. Hi, DC. How are you? Welcome.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I left my laptop downstairs, so I'm trying to
Oh,
figure out which device to put the chat up on. So bear with me a second.
okay, no problem. Thank you.
I hate missing out on the chat. Such good stuff.
Oh, wait, Hellcat. Oh, it's a Hellcat. Thank you for erring on the side of caution. So every time someone says Ryan Upchurch now, I think of that little short he put out where he's like getting on the phone. He's like, hey, whoever, detail the Hellcat. It's going to Adventures with Purpose. And, but it's cool he did that. And there was a lot of comments to that video saying, oh, it's all just for show. He's like, no, it's about integrity. It's about a guy keeping his promise. He said that if they found her, he was going to give him the Hellcat, which apparently is $100,000 car. If they don't accept it, he's going to write him a check worth that. So it's nice to have that money to just give to someone. Good for him. But I mean, it's great that he's support, that's awesome. That's great. I respect him for doing that. Absolutely. Leave it alone, people. Leave it alone. Let people do generous things and just let it be. Right.
No, I think it's awesome that he did that.
Yeah, me too.
100%. I mean, especially if he said he was going to do it and then he actually did
it. Exactly. Right.
He's not just blowing smoke. And
because talk is cheap enough. We don't need the value to go down. Right.
And I do remember seeing on the news coverage before she was discovered that there was like a $50,000 reward to bring her home. I don't think they're going to get any of that, like the official reward.
I don't think so either.
And I think that's so sad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, wow. Holy cow. DC, can you see the private chat?
Hold on, let me look. Oh.
Yeah. How did that happen? Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
It starts out with, I need a good gangbang, and I'm not going to read the rest. All right. From Hot Mama. I don't know how that happened. Okay. All right. Misty Street says I'm 50-50 with Upchurch. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that. I mean, I watch him every now and then. If it comes like into my recommendations, he's like, I can see how that would be. Do I hear the chipmunks?
Sorry. I'm on my work computer, so I don't have YouTube Premium on there. So ads. I just wanted to be able to see the chat while we're here because I hate missing out on it when I'm up on panel and StreamYard.
Cool.
50-50 with Upchurch. Yeah, I think Upchurch is a cute kid,
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
He's a cutie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his covers of Alice in Chains. I don't totally agree with his investigative tactics, like putting it all into Google Earth, because Google Earth can't be wrong. But,
right,
that's
right. That's right. That's right.
But I think he's got a good heart, and like his heart's in the right place, and he's probably still learning. I mean, he's not a true crime guy. He's like a music guy.
He could be doing much worse things with his time. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to read this comment. He seems like he's got a good heart, I think. So K-pop Dummy says, welcome Princess Megan, Elsa and Ruby Joy. Happy you guys are here. Says, I don't understand how they couldn't tell that she went into the water if she shared her location with her mom. I use a location sharing app and it's pretty accurate unless the phone was turned off. So you're saying that as she went into the water, if the phone was on her, it would have showed that she was moving in, right? So that's what we're saying, right? That's interesting.
Well, we're getting into significant location and then the live 360 data.
Exactly.
And
so
we've
let
been
me
there
tell
before,
you, yes. Let me just tell you guys something really quick about significant location. If you were to Google the significant location feature on an iPhone, it's going to tell you that the significant location feature is the least accurate of all locating features on any digital device. The reason this is the technology it uses is called AGPS, which stands for assisted GPS. So while GPS locating is extremely accurate and cellular signal locating is extremely accurate if you have the ability for triangulation, if you have that as much signal, AGPS, assisted GPS, uses GPS with the assist of cellular technology, whether it be Wi-Fi or 4G or 5G or whatever it is. So if you're in an area that is rather rural and does not have totally reliable cell signal, a GPS is not going to be as accurate as we want to think. If you are, say, in an urban area where you're getting consistent cell signal, a GPS is going to be remarkably accurate, just like GPS. And I hope that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense to me, but it didn't the first 5 times I heard it.
Because you've heard me say it. Right.
Just wanted to bring to your attention, Appalachian Crochet Design sent in a $15 super chat.
Oh, I guess thank you so much. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Well, Yarn and Mittens, I think, alerted me. But it said, Uncle lost control of his Honda CRV. It sunk forward with the air pocket to back. If she woke up with the water pouring in through open window, she may have scrambled to air pocket and tried to exit through the hatch.
Oh, well, first of all, Appalachian Crochet Designs. And are you promoting a product? I'm going to check it out. Thank you so much for the super chat and for supporting the channel and for being here. And also welcome Mike Adams. I just saw a new person too, but thank you so much. This is a great comment/question. Let's just think about this for a minute, okay? Let's think about what we know in the scenario that Appalachian's putting out here. So wait, I'm just going to read it one more time, get my head around it. Uncle lost control of his Honda CRV. So same vehicle as Kiely. That's interesting. Thank you for contributing this. It sunk forward with an air pocket to back. If she woke up with water pouring in through the open window, she may have scrambled to the air pocket and tried to exit through the hatch. So, I mean, okay, this is kind of a good point because I'm thinking of something I haven't thought of before. So, this is going to make it complicated, but I'm going to say it because I have to because, okay. So the way that you're describing right here is making me think about what this whole horrific scene would look like from the inside of the car, right? So we make a big deal. I've made a big deal. I know I've heard other people do it too. That the top of the headrest is only 8 inches from the ceiling of the CRV, so to speak. So she'd really only have that much space to get through. But we know that there's there's contours in the seating and stuff, and she's very small. Anyhow, as I'm thinking about that heavy engine leading the car towards a nosedive down towards the bottom, and the air pocket that you're talking about, it could almost sort of like highlight that space you would need to pass through to get from the front into the hatchback area. Does that make sense, DC?
Yeah, it totally makes sense, but like I get what they're saying. I mean, okay, we have to think of this like in time and space.
Mm-hmm.
If the car went in, she had like less than 60 seconds to basically get out of the seatbelt if she were
much less than what I understand. Yeah.
And to find the pocket of air as the water was rushing in, like less than a minute.
Right.
Of course, her physiological needs are going to be the first if we're looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So air, number 1, right?
Right.
So definitely air is going to like trump anything else, like,
right.
I might cut my arm if I go through this window, anything like that. I don't understand why she would pass up an open window or a busted window to try to get out the hatch door. That's the first thing that kind of struck me.
Right. Yes. Good point. That's what, yeah.
And then the other thing is there just wasn't a whole lot of time to get back there before the water started pouring in at like such velocity. I kind of side with Doug from Adventures with Purpose on this. It just doesn't make sense in the time that was available to me.
Yeah, you're right. Because Jared, from the founder of Adventures with Purpose, said with the one window halfway down, the other window all the way down, in that kind of car, he said submerged in 20 seconds, guys. That's time to panic.
But I did consider that. Like, I was totally on Team Accident before Adventures with Purpose video came out. And I went and joined their channel and everything. Like, I'm a channel member over there just because I could not wait to see it. And
Yeah, me
it
too.
was just I was blown away.
Uh-huh.
It was just so much information that they put forward. But yeah, I think essentially she just didn't have time to get back there on her own before the car flipped over. And it would have been very difficult, like Kelly was saying, with that little bit of space to crawl through, like face, she would have had to like kind of tether herself to the roof of the vehicle, which would have been underneath her, to get through that space in
Right,
order to
right,
get to the
right, right,
house
right,
once it
right.
did
Cause
flip over.
right, okay, that's right. You're right. You're
So
right.
I think it's least the least likely scenario is that she got back there on her own. That's
I
just my
think so
opinion.
too. That's a really great way to put it. Welcome to the Kelly and DC show. This is how we this is how we think about things. So, okay, yeah, that's right. I think
I'm
that
not
yep.
I'm not saying it's impossible. Like
Right.
we don't know. She may have been in the back seat. She may not have even been driving and just had to, I don't know. We don't know, right?
Yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
pitch dark. There are several other factors, but
Mm-hmm.
I just think, without seeing like a reenactment of that vehicle with those two particular windows open, sinking, I can't like get my head around it. Like I've seen other channels say like it flipped over laterally on its side,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think that's the case. I think it would have flipped forward, or maybe even like at a diagonal.
Well, I think that one thing I feel pretty set on is it seems like it probably flipped when the front of the vehicle touched down on that soft
Mm-hmm.
surface. So yeah, but I mean, for whatever it's worth, for people that are thinking about this stuff, yeah, I mean, it's I yeah,
Yeah,
I think for me the bottom line is these are great points people bring up seriously and truly, and they all need to be considered. I think consider the windows being down, as Jared and many other people who would be considered experts in this tragic area that have spoken out about it. It's about 20 seconds, guys. I mean, that's not wow. It would have had to been a true miracle. Because when you have 4 inches of water pressure, 4 inches of water as pressure outside of your car door, you cannot open it. That's a deep puddle.
I mean, time is the limiting factor again, Kelly. I think
Mm-hmm.
with all of these cases that we're looking at, like time is going to be the limiting factor. If you have
Mm-hmm.
to consider like logically what would have had to transpire in the time that would have most likely been available. And I believe that Doug did mention that you were saying the ground of the lake or the preserve was soft.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was wondering, I was like, well, maybe when it flipped over, that passenger side window busted open somehow. But he's
Yeah.
saying that was unlikely too.
That's right. Yeah. So I actually did know that happened after the fact. 'Cause I heard Doug, I think it was Doug that was talking about that, right? He was saying that the ground is so soft it at that depth, 14 feet in that particular body of water that, with it being a very soft landing because you're already floating, you already have the buoyancy of water and then a soft lake bottom. Like, no way. They said there wasn't anything hard near the vehicle that would have caused a window to shatter. It's
That's
weird.
And to Appalachian's point,
Mm-hmm.
with the adrenaline surge that she would have been feeling,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she was intoxicated, she would have sobered up real quick as soon as that
Mm-hmm.
happened. So that is a good factor to consider too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that there was really enough time. There might have been, I don't know. I'd have to see a reenactment in order to like really wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, Misty Street says Duty Ron had an expert on last night that made it sound like they may not get anything from that laptop. They said there's a 50-50 chance, and if it's registered under mom's account, definitely would be an issue. Right. That would be a legal issue. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, then they might not be able to access the iCloud if mom says no. That's right. Very, very good point, Misty Street. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in that chat last night, Kelly. I want you to go and watch it so you can like bring some of your expertise to the
Duty
questions I
Ron.
have.
Yeah.
because like they were answering my questions, but I don't think it was like their wheelhouse as far as like the ping and the cellular data.
Right.
So if you can take a look at that maybe.
I
And
sure will. Yeah, I definitely will. I'll do that. We'll do that sometime this weekend for sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. Because whoops, hold it. I didn't want you to wait. What's playing? I don't even know what's playing. I have so many streams. I have so many things open. Okay, there we go. Woo! Okay. Yeah, Duty Ron. Okay, very good. Yeah, I will definitely check it out for sure. Stop, everyone's talking. Wait a minute. Okay, there. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Okay. Oh my goodness. Do you want to read a comment or two? I'm looking up something real quick. Are you able to read comments, honey? Okay, thank you very much.
All right. So looking at Gregory's comment here, Gregory Worth. I think just driving over that path equivalent to a log wagon trail would have been enough to sober someone up.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you to the people there in that area that actually did that drive for us and did it
Very
at night,
cool.
so we
Yeah.
could see how dark it was, and then did it in the daytime too, so we can actually like kind of see the terrain and get a feel for how long it would have taken.
Yep, that's right.
Let's see here. I Mary Variola says Kiely was going to be designated driver. I don't think she was drunk. Well, I can speak from experience. Like even when I was the designated driver, back in my younger days, I would still have like one or two, and then I would stop drinking, for a couple hours so that I would be able to drive people home. So I mean, it's possible she had one or two, but
yeah,
hopefully the toxicology results are conclusive where we can kind of get an idea if she was intoxicated or not, or what other substances might have been in her system besides alcohol.
Now, let's throw this in here, okay? So, whether or not the autopsy of a minor can or cannot be sealed is an issue that is left to state jurisdiction. So, I did some research, and according to the California state jurisdictional laws, I just made that word up, I'm being silly. According to the laws in California, you can, in fact, seal the autopsy of a minor. It's one of the states where you can seal the autopsy of a minor. So we have to remember, guys, if it's in the field of possibilities. Sorry, I just want to, for those of people looking for those definitive answers, just remember that. Give yourself that cushion. You know. Yeah.
That's disappointing. And that being the case, I do feel like, the parents have been through it enough with the social media, not just YouTube. I'm saying all social media attacks of them and everything, where they would want to just say, we don't owe you anything. This is enough of an answer for us. Like, go kick rocks. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Except if it's a homicide, says Joan Bradley.
Yeah. Gosh.
Well, if we're thinking, like, of course we're going to compare this to Gabby Petito, right? Because if we think back a year ago, they released the cause of death like pretty early on, from what I understand, and I don't know if they released the manner of death. I know the cause of death was homicide, and the manner was like it was manual asphyxiation or strangulation. But that was pretty early on, before they like released the full autopsy results.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Ara. And then we found out later that she also had blunt force trauma. So I thought that was interesting too. Like that added another layer.
Yeah, which made everything pretty clear. Yeah. In my opinion.
Jessica Nasuti says, hi, Kels.
Hi, how are you? I'm so glad you were able to make the live stream. Awesome. Welcome, Jessica. Awesome. It's great. A lot of great people here. Thanks for being here, everybody. All right. I do want to get to, I'm just trying to find the proper Doug's So we just read the article, the Fox News article about Adventures with Purpose and the Kiely Rodni case and the criticism and the objection. Now I want to read kind of Doug's response to that. I'm just trying to find the right place to do it. The right way, place, approach. Since I don't have the interview, since I didn't talk to Doug myself. I wish I did though.
Appalachian Crochet Design says, you have obtained my respect this evening. We'll be subbing. Well, thank you, Appalachian
Awesome. Thank you
Crochet
so much.
Designs.
That means a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much.
We're happy to have you here in chat because, you know, it's not linear. Like, true crime is not linear. You have to kind of pull all things in and consider the possibilities to really kind of get a feel for it. And even after the investigations are complete, like we've learned with the Chris Watts case, you know, case closed. But when we go back and look at like all the facts and all the data, we can kind of get a clearer picture of what actually might have happened because, you know, we can't take his word for it. But if you haven't seen the Watts stuff on Watts the Obsession, Kelly's got tons of it.
Yeah, like lots. We're obsessed.
A little bit. But, you know,
a little bit.
I haven't been thinking about Watts too much since Ara got me totally hooked on this case.
That's right. Yes. And one of our moderators, Ara R, has a channel herself, and she's been doing a lot of great videos and live streams on the Kiely Rodni case. So if somebody could put up Ara's link, that'd be amazing. And if this is like what you're into and why you're here, definitely check out Ara as well. So yeah, do that. That's good stuff. All right.
Yeah. I was just watching one of Ara's, I think it was was that your latest video when you were talking about the timeline, Ara? And I was like, man, I have so many questions after watching.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was good. She put together an excellent timeline video. I was actually just saying, Ara, that I was reading a Fox News article, and they gave a link to a timeline, and their timeline is not nearly as good as your timeline.
Jessica Nasuti says, case not closed. Can't wait until the next Watts discovery.
No, case definitely not closed. No, 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 no.
Well, case closed. Crime not solved, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I guess.
If we're being official.
If we're being official. Okay, so. All right, so here, I'm just going to read this from a secret source. It's not the Doug response, but it's something else I want to just think about really quick. So let's see. We know that Check It TV recently went to the area and managed to find Kiely's laptop, including her bag and some other items. And I mean, he did a really great job of finding those things because obviously when they, brought the car out and turned it over, we could see inside of the vehicle, and those things must have fallen out because what looks like a laptop in there that I can see, this person says, certain things were recovered after the car came out. So those things must have then fallen out when they brought the car out of the water, right? So why a diver at the time didn't go in and find those items, or why the windows weren't properly sealed so that things did not fall out, is another question that I have no idea about, this person says. We talked about that, and I think a lot of people share this same sentiment. We're getting towards the cell phone here. Let's see. Wait. What's we're trying to get? Share interested as far as...
There's a lot of talk about illicit street drugs in the chat here, and I don't want to say them out loud, but
please don't mention any illegal drugs in the chat. It's like it's like liability thing for me, please. Thank you.
It's just terrible, the epidemic. Like, we're not promoting it, we're saying it's bad, by the way, if anybody's watching this YouTube.
Yes. And if you're a youth and you're watching this, go away, because this channel is not for people under 18.
18 and over.
Okay, wait, hold it. This is what I want to read. So just one second. Okay. So this person says the sheriff or one of the deputies actually asked Check It TV if he would go back into the water and find the phone. Apparently, he asked him if he had found the phone while he was in there, and he said no. these are the items I found. This is all the items I found. And then the sheriff or deputy asked him to go back into the water to look for the phone. And whether he ultimately did or not, I don't know, this person says.
Wait,
This is from a reliable source.
So the deputy asked Check It TV to go back and look for the phone?
This is correct, yes.
Oh my gosh.
But it's interesting to note that the police or the sheriff's office or the FBI obviously do not have her phone, or at least at the time when they asked him to go back in to look for the phone, clearly they did not have the phone, or they wouldn't have needed to ask him to go back in for the phone. So now we go back to Mary's question that she posed to me. Where is the phone? Where is the phone, guys?
Where is the phone?
I mean, this is a big question. So if it was foul play, did whoever it was take her phone? Were they the ones that messaged her mother to say that she would be a little bit late? Since, as Doug pointed out, that message was impeccably written and she was, according to a lot of people, inebriated.
Yeah, by all accounts that we've heard from Sammy and Elsa and Max's mom, like Kiely was highly intoxicated and was falling down drunk.
Yeah.
From what we heard, God rest her soul.
Mm-hmm.
But if that were the case, like, man, I couldn't even read straight, much less type. If it were me,
Right.
And, I've been there like once or twice in my life in my younger days. Not any time that I can remember.
That's what you said about hallucinogenics too. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. But I do remember being like very intoxicated and not even be able to see straight, much less be able to type. I couldn't even imagine. I'm sure many of the adults in the chat can relate. Not everybody, but
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. So this is definitely a point of contradiction. So I just want you guys to hear that. So this is from a reliable source that I haven't been given permission to name at this time. Maybe I will eventually. I don't know. But what they're saying is, and all of my experience with this source, the things I've been able to verify are always verified. So that's all I can tell you. That either the sheriff or one of the deputies asked Check It TV to go back into the water to look for her phone, which obviously the next logical implication there is that law enforcement did not have her phone. So where is her phone? Now, Aaron on the side of caution had pointed out that Kiely had an iPhone 12. That's awesome to know. I'm not sure what that means, though. I got to think about that.
I heard that too. Yeah, that's what I heard. And Aaron has a good question here in chat also. Does anyone know all 16 agencies that Placer County said were involved? Because I've looked and only came up with 7 agencies, not 16. Truckee PD, Cali, Highway Patrol, FBI, Homeland Security, WCSO, PCSO, NCSO, and DCSO.
Where did you find that from? I'm going to check one resource, Aaron, but if you found it from the same place I'm going to go, then that's a good question. It's a very good question. Well, let me just check it anyway. So let's see here.
And then Appalachian replies to Aaron, likely departments within those 7 agencies. So you think like maybe like search and rescue or the fire department or something like that within those agencies?
You know what? I think that's probably right. Well, I'm going to check this anyway. But yeah, that sounds like that could possibly be right.
That's a good point. She did a lot of Googling, Kelly.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's great. Good stuff. Oh gosh, there's so many things to discuss on this case.
I know. Sam Hubert says Alameda SO dive team were there. So I guess that's number 8. Find my iPhone. Oh, your iPhone has to be on, doesn't it, in order to use that feature?
It does. That's right. It does. Okay. Yep.
Jason Bowman says, I'd be willing to bet that someone has destroyed her cell phone. But I think you brought up a good point, too, because I had heard that, too, Kelly, that they were asked to go back and try to recover the phone. I can't remember if it was Check It TV or if it was AWP. but it definitely seemed like law enforcement did not have the phone.
Right,
What I got.
exactly. Yeah, right. Yep, yep. See, I hadn't until this person got a hold of me with that information. I hadn't really, I maybe I'd heard it. I hadn't really processed it though. So that really like kind of hit home for me. Yeah.
And me, Messiah says, well, last known location then. Well, the last known location would have been the ping near the shoreline of Prosser Reservoir.
At 12:33. That's right. Yep. Because we just talked about how the locating services out where they're, well, yeah, I don't want to get into that even. So we'll do a live stream about that soon. Because I got some things to tell you guys.
Yeah, Misty, good point. Apple is really strict with the info. Like,
oh yeah,
like you're not going to get it. They're very protective
That's
of
right.
user data.
That's right. And they need to be.
I think there was even a case that went to the Supreme Court, and I remember, I forget what it was, but it was like, I don't even know, but Congress had lobbied the Supreme Court to go after somebody's records. I can't remember what case it was because it's been a long day, but basically Supreme Court shut them down. Like, no, Congress, nope, you cannot have it.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was a big deal. There were 2 cases that went up to the Supreme Court, and I don't know the names either, but yeah, and both times Apple's right to privacy and not like a kind of foil distribution of their customers' data was upheld. Let's see. Hold on. I'm still looking for those agencies. If I can't find it in like a minute or 2, I'm going to give up for now, but not forever, just for now.
So Aaron says, what I do know about the iPhone 12 is that it has an IP68 rating, meaning it can be submerged in fresh water up to 9.7 feet for up to 30 minutes.
That's interesting. Thank you, Aaron. That's useful. Yeah, I didn't know
Very
that.
specific.
Yeah, that's good. That's good information.
So 14 feet of water, 1233. Well, okay, so Kelly, and I'm going to ask you, and I don't want to distract you from your search here.
That's okay.
But so just based on what you know about pings, when the phone pinged at 12:33, that would mean that like it was either making a call on the cellular network or Wi-Fi.
That's right. That's right. Yep. That would necessarily mean that. Correct. Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
It would
I've been studying.
No, it would be interesting for us to find out well, you know, to get this. Oh, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to do an advanced reserve of the most accurate cell phone map that I can get from my friend that provides that. And so when it comes time, if it comes time, we can have the most accurate cellular map. Because that's what we want for you guys. Oh, I know. I made a freaking slideshow with this in it. Okay, hold it. Let me go to the slideshow. Aaron, you sent me on a wild goose chase.
So Appalachian Crochet Design says pings can also be if you receive a text notification as well. I didn't know that.
That's right. That is true. That's true. Yeah, that is true. I was thinking when you pose your question, I was thinking that was included in that, but that is correct. Yep. It's when you are, it really could be sending or receiving a phone call or a text. It's when you are initiating real time communication that is not through Wi-Fi or 4 or 5G, basically, for what that's worth.
And Miracle Juarez, Kelly, was looking into the different towers in that area. I heard that they are sparse.
I would imagine, yeah.
So I think that being the case, it would be probably limited to one tower. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah. It's always going to be, well, okay. If it's not limited to one tower just by virtue of like the cell phone bill, because that's basically what we would get. It would say like, trucky, there might be, we will be able to narrow it down. I will do that for you with the help of people that know more about this stuff than me in that industry, who are still in that industry. So we'll figure that all out. It might not be too complex. It might not be too much to figure out. Fine. If it is, we will be the people to do it.
Mandy says, correct. Any open app, even in the background, create a ping. I don't think so.
Well,
not off of the cellular tower. I mean, there could be like pings to different applications, like quote unquote, right? That don't necessarily go off of the cellular network.
Yeah, a ping. I feel really confident in saying this. I'm going to get a definitive answer from the people I used to work with. One was the vice president of Verizon. The other guy is an absolute genius in the telecom industry and knows everything. He was a radio frequent engineer. Now he owns his site acquisition firm. He's like a wealth of knowledge. I will run it by them. They're both my friends. I can get an answer pretty quickly. That's a good clarifying answer. Thank you for like kind of putting that out there. But let's really like hone this down. It also is going to just help us to understand this issue when it comes up in like any case, right? So it's important. So we'll find out.
Hi, Jody. Good to see you.
Hi, Jody. How are you, honey?
Another thing that I wanted to narrow down, Erin, since you got the Google open, is when is the last time that they did an official like law enforcement search, and how many searches of the lake or the reservoir were there in total, and on what date?
That's really great question.
Like I would want to know that, because that, it could change a lot.
It could change a lot. Now I heard, and I haven't done any researching into this, and we're actually going to end this soon because I have a really big day tomorrow with a bunch of legal stuff I have to do for a student. But okay, so I heard that. What did I hear? I just lost my thought. Oh, I know. So I heard from a couple different sources that. But I don't believe this because a couple sources had said that they didn't actually do like a dive search of Prosser. But from, what? I'm sorry. I'm second guessing myself now. I was going to say from what Doug said, he said, they did a thorough search and I feel confident in that. But I guess he just could have met with the sonar technology, and given their search or scope with the sonar technology, they didn't find any abnormalities that caused them to actually do a dive. So I think I just answered my own question. Thank you all for taking a step inside my brain.
Yeah, I heard that they had some kind of like submarine device. I don't know if there was like a human diver, like down.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I gleaned from different.
Yeah, I would like to know more about all of that, because it's going to be material to the question, when did the car go in? Because, if they really truly did a thorough search, a reliable thorough search, and the car was not found, we know the car did not go in until after they did their search, and that is important. But if they didn't do a thorough search and they just called it a thorough search, that means the car could have been in there all along. And that might be one of the most critical questions we can find the answer to.
Well, there are some variables to that too, Kelly. I remember watching that video because I watched it probably 10 times with Adventures with Purpose. And I remember when Nick was coming across the large object that was like kind of an anomaly, he was kind of second guessing himself. He's like, well, I'm going to check it out because I don't want to be the guy that like just saw it and didn't check it out because it was just casting a shadow.
Right.
It didn't at first look like a newer vehicle. And I'm guessing because of the algae bloom in the area at the time.
Right.
So it could be that it was just covered with algae and it was kind of reading like something that had been down there longer.
Right. Okay. There you go. There are some nuances. Yep. That's right.
But luckily, like, he kind of said, no, I want to really eliminate this possibility. And he went down and had a look. But I know when Doug was going over it with the sonar, like, he saw the tires and everything, and he could like make out the shape of the car. So,
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
yeah, it is really interesting. And he had to like kind of dragged his magnet across this. And I guess like he could tell by the way that the magnet was gliding that it hadn't been down there for some time. Like,
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yep. That's all coming back to me now. Hey, I just wanted to read this. I don't know if you had seen this. So Verna, K, busy mom of 7. Wow. Good for you. And welcome, Verna. I saw you on another channel. I don't remember what channel it was, but this is awesome information. She says, I was there the second day he went back in, but all he found was a beanie hat. So this was like 15 minutes ago. I think this was when, I'm sorry, I didn't see this earlier, when I was talking about the report that a sheriff or a deputy asked Check It TV to go back in to look for the phone. That's so cool that you were there. And thank you so much for letting us know that. And then she also says, I was there the day after with the actual real diver, and she didn't find anything. He could say either not a phone anyway. But the actual,
So is this the Verna that was like the boots on the ground taking all that wonderful footage for us?
I think so. Thank you, Verna. That's amazing. We're so grateful to have that.
Oh, if you can clarify the diver thing, that would be awesome. Is she
Very
still in
cool.
chat? I can't find
I'm not
her here.
Let's see. I'm looking because that was like 15 minutes ago. I wish I saw her.
Darn.
Vern, I'm so happy you stopped by. Anything you have to contribute since you were, I mean, it's a perspective that we do not have.
Yeah, it's so much different when you're there in person, you know.
And so Jessica asked, can't they go to the phone carrier? Well, they can, Jessica, but every phone carrier has different rules and regulations about what they will or will not release. Furthermore, different phone carriers will hold on to information and data and different levels of information and data for a certain amount of time, spanning from they won't hold on to it to like 3 years. And everything in between is like 3 days, 1 month. So the information that law enforcement can actually get from a carrier is a very variable situation. Now, I actually do know some things about what can be accessed from Verizon that are a couple of the pieces of information I have to be really careful with, because there are some things that I only know from being in that industry, and I might only know because the people I worked for were so knowledgeable of that industry and had information from being inside the corporate business part of it, where they had access to more than like somebody who is, in site acquisition would. But I will say this, that Verizon does, let me think about this. Yeah. Verizon will hold on to the content and the details and the cellular signalation for definitely a long enough period of time where law enforcement should have been able to get everything they need from Verizon, because that was her service. Yeah. Okay. I hope that answers the question. Oh, and I did find the agent. I found the same agency as this Aaron. So, yeah.
So Verna is still in chat. She said that she was referring to a female diver that was a volunteer diver that found the dive light that that Nick had lost when he was diving. Is this the one that found the Truly can, Verna?
Oh.
I think I remember hearing that. But it was like a different flavor than the ones. Oh gosh, now I can't remember exactly. Sorry, I worked like 11 hours today. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, I hear you. I get like that too.
Yeah. It was a long day. And then
yeah, she says, yeah, she found the dive light, a Truly can, and a few other things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good, Jessica. I'm glad I answered that question. And I'm glad you understood the answer. So, all right, guys. Wait. Okay. So Misty Street says, and I know that somebody was on YouTube earlier. I haven't had a chance to watch it. think this is going to be the last thing I'm going to read. And then I actually do have to go to sleep because I have a huge responsibility to my career and one of my students tomorrow. It's a legal matter and I've got to make sure I'm like well rested for it. So thank you guys for understanding. She says, Missy Street says, Emily, a well-known medical examiner, said most likely the tox screen and COD may be difficult to pin down because of all of the factors in play, like the water. And yeah, okay, I've heard different thoughts on that. So yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Barbara Butcher? She was the she's a regular guest on oh, okay.
I think it's someone different. Yeah. And even among the people that I've heard that I give some level of credibility to, because there is one or two that I do not. I'm going to tell you that. I'm not going to name them. But I've heard differing opinions. So, that's the thing with medical examiners. You really have to rely on the medical examiner that has jurisdiction. And I guess you have to hope that they are experienced, well-trained, well-rested, and honest,
Well, I mean, there's always going to be a margin of error. And hey, Kez.
Hi, Kaz. How are you, honey? I just saw your message too. I haven't read it yet, but I will get back to you shortly. So Verna says, no, it was the exact same flavor and everything is the one in the window. That is very interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you so much, Verna. I really appreciate you offering this in chat. Thank you so much.
Oh. Daylight Disinfected says blood ferments, so blood alcohol levels would be useless. Never heard that.
Okay, yes. That blood, yes, true. But I don't know if that necessarily means blood alcohol levels will be useless because, I mean, the amazing advancements that we've made in technology, look what we can do. A lot of times medical examiners through their testing are able to account for those changes that happen after decomposition. Like that's what they do. So maybe you're totally right. That's just what came to mind. I wanted to put it out there.
Well,
but thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I just hope and pray that they have
daylight disinfectant. I
love sunlight is the best disinfectant, y'all. Light on it. I just hope that we have like the most honest and most reputable people doing this lab testing that can give us the fairest and most honest and scientific results. That's what I'm. And there's no like weird political stuff going on.
I hope not.
That's just kind of.
Now, I'm just going to call you Mimi because I'm not sure how to pronounce, but welcome. Says, would hair follicles provide accurate toxicology? And what about the one lady that said she couldn't walk or talk? So that was Mag's mom. Mag's was your best friend, Magdalene. By other accounts, too, she was pretty intoxicated. Now, who knows if she just drank alcohol? Mag said that there were drugs there that were not the norm. It sounded like she was very put off by that. Who knows exactly what was there? I'm not even going to speculate to that end, but so it could have been alcohol. It could have been whatever. I know myself. I have drank alcohol and I have smoked weed at the same time. Not a good combination for me. I end up sick, passing out, not in a good state at any time. I would not want to be like in a public place or in a party of 300 people where I didn't really trust everyone. And
yeah, really.
I don't drink or smoke pot anymore, but it doesn't really matter because if I did, I wouldn't need to apologize for it. But I know that's been my only experience ever doing those two things at the same time. And I've done that plenty of times. So, I could imagine that it could just be something that simple that would put her in that state. But the hair follicle is going to tell you the presence of different substances with great accuracy, but it's not going to tell you the level that you would want to know through like a blood toxicology report.
And the other thing you got to think about too is if she were drinking that night, it wouldn't have time to really metabolize and get into her follicles. Because I mean, if you think about the rate at which hair grows, I don't think anything that she would have ingested that night would be present in the follicles. That's just my layman's opinion. I have no idea if I'm right.
Well, so now I'm going to defer to my Watts case statement, which is I am not experienced or specialized or more knowledgeable than any person walking down the street, and anything having to do with medical or medicine. I only really know these things from lots of true crime obsessions.
exactly.
So I really can't speak to it, but we'll find somebody who can. We'll figure something out so we can get these answers if we need to, for sure. So, oh God, I'm sorry.
Experiences in the chat. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Yeah, I know. Misty Street. I've had that happen too. It's an awful experience. I literally thought I was going to die. I'm sorry about that. Terrible. Jeez. Sorry for all these bad experiences. Jeez. See, it's like, you got to be real careful.
Yeah.
I mean, or, sometimes if some of the slipping things into your drink, my God,
Well, and
I hope those people go to hell, because nobody should ever force you to be in that state. That is just so violent towards a person. It's awful.
and you got to think about it. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have to necessarily be something they slipped into or drank. You can easily mix something up into something you're smoking and smoke it that way too. So that can happen. I know that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. She could have voluntarily just, taken one too many sips, had something to drink and taken a couple puffs off a joint. Forget it. Like, that would just put me under. Or somebody may have done something like nefarious. There's so many possibilities that are out there. So here's the kind of punchline here before we go. Even when we do get the toxicology reports, we have to remember that all of these different scenarios could have taken place, and there has to be other evidence to help to create an actual story, to have an understanding of the reality as it existed for Kiely, and God rest her soul. But I do have to go, or else I'm going to keep talking forever.
Yes,
but thank you so much for coming up, DC. I always appreciate you.
Yes, have a great night, everybody.
Yes, thanks, honey. And thank you so much, moderators. Thank you. Guys are the best. And I don't care what that dude says. You guys are amazing. And if you want me to clap back at him because of all the terrible things that he said, I will happily do that. I want to leave it in your court. Sorry, I never got that email out to you guys. And Kezchik, you were included in that too. So utter reminds, we have a live tomorrow, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to show Kelly your appreciation. Thank you, Utter Nutter. So tomorrow night, we have the Alibi of Lies from the Watts case, featuring Nicole Kessinger's 5,892 lies plus 1,000,003. Mostly pertaining to that timeline of the Sunday going into the Monday. Myself and several people collaborated on this, including some experts, have come up with some conclusions you guys have not heard yet. None of the piecemeal information on its own is new. I don't ever make claims on this channel that are not real. I only put out clickbait so you guys can watch Caillou. But if you can come tomorrow, I'd love to have you guys there. So thank you, everyone in chat. I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for being respectful. I love that. I always read in the comments on videos that people just love coming to this chat because of the way everything goes down. And that's all because of you guys. And thank you so much for all that you do. So there will be more Kiely Rodni coming up on Watts the Obsession, because we like to be obsessed with as many things as possible all at once. And tomorrow night, Watts Alibi of Lies, Part 2, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mwah. Love you guys. Be safe. If you need anything, email me, wattsobsession@gmail.com. Oh, and Upchurch, if you want to send me a Hellcat, you can do that too. No problem. I will accept it. I will accept it. I wouldn't be so rude as to say no. But I haven't done anything to deserve it. Unlike AWP, who are heroes. That's right. And please also go check out DC Primetime has a channel, and moderator RR does as well. Is there anyone else in here who has a channel? If that's the case, please put those channel links up. We want everyone to be successful, and yeah, that's like how it is. We don't need any selfish people around here. We don't got room for that. Awesome, Jessica. I just read your comment. That's great. Okay, guys, everyone take care.